Okay, good afternoon, guys and gals. Welcome to the Compound Trading Midday Review. There's going to be a fair amount of noise in the background. I am keeping my patio doors open today either way, so I apologize for that in advance, but it's beautiful here and I can't resist. One quick apology, my allergies are out of control, so I'm breathing deep and all stuffed up. I'll do my best. As far as housekeeping is concerned, I've let the public know just randomly their Sartaj that they can bring in charts if they need, if they'd like something looked at technically. So this morning, as far as housekeeping is concerned, a couple hours before market open, we had a few technical challenges, so thanks for working with me on that. The pre-market didn't get out in the post-market from last night, but I'll get the post-market out for Thursday and Friday on the weekend. And of course all our algorithms will be updated. The 3-day weekend will give us lots of time for that too. So what's happened so far today? There's been some good wins in the room. Corey, Rock and crew have nailed some wins. I haven't. One of the bigger plays was NIHD. I've received a number of messages about this one. I'm not playing it at this point. The chart setup is actually pretty decent for the afternoon, and we'll see. But you got to be careful with market volumes and momentum Friday before a long weekend. So that's NIHD up 84% at this point. Serious resistance around 110. VWAP is that orange line sitting around 1.4. It's lost VWAP, but time of day is against it right now, and you kind of, have to expect that. If it regains VWAP, it gets up over that resistance, and especially if it gets over high of day, so on the quarter at the 125. It stopped right on the quarter, by the way, and if you haven't seen any videos that I've done on trading quarters, that is important to know. But it stopped just perfectly on the 125 quarter there earlier. We were about to take the trade, or I was about to take the trade, and boom, it stopped. So that's NIHD. That's the momentum play on the day. Here's a trade setup, or chart setup from Hedgehog Trader, CBIS. It's a cannabis play. It's OTC, beautiful chart. So it's 200 MA. It got lift off it when the 20 went through, 50 went through, 100 went through, came back, tested the 20, bounced up, came back, tested the 50, bounced up, came back, tested the 100, and it's bounced. And that's pretty typical for that crossover play that we've been reviewing for the last 3 weeks on our midday reviews of when we get lift and how it happens. And technically speaking, this couldn't have played out more precisely, where it got its lift, came back, tested the 20, got its lift, came back, tested its 50, got its lift to the 20, see how it used it as resistance, get back, you tested the 100, and then took off again when the 20 got through the 50 and price was above, and it went all the way up. At this point it tested the 20 here, just precise trade, and then it became a decent short. Somewhere in here, you'd want to be on a lower time frame where the 20 gets, where price gets under the 20, crossing the 50. And now it's worked its way all the way through, a test of the 50, the 100, bounced off the 200, and it's tested through properly, and now it's bouncing off the 200 again. Pretty much ideal, technically speaking. And when I first started looking at OTC stocks, I was surprised at how technically perfect and sound they can be. That's about as close as you get, so thanks to Hedgehog for that. So I'm going to be watching it close. I was thinking of a trade earlier, and I'd be up a fair bit actually on that call, but I didn't take it, so I'm going to look at it early next week. So that's CBIS, OTC cannabis setup. ACHN. I did. I published that one and ACHN to my Twitter feed. So if you want the actual indicators, they're here. So ACHN, the one I'm going to review right now, it's set up with all its indicators. Sartaj is going to post the video on how to set up your indicators on it. We set up 10 different indicators out of the 53 that we use for our modeling, and so you can get into that chart and make it yours. So you just click on it, and when the chart comes up, what you do is you go down by where this little thumbs up is here and hit the share button. And then after you hit the share button, you just click on make it mine, and then you can manipulate the chart how you like, or you can just view it in the viewer, hit play, and bring you up to date. The other one that's in here is, or that I posted this morning, is CBIS, the one that I just reviewed. So that's the hedgehog one that was brought in, thanks to Nick. So ACHN, so we've been working on this play for this chart setup for the last 3 weeks, and basically the setup is when the 200 comes down and price gets up and over the 200. Right now this is a little bit early, so it's a bottom play. It's post earnings, which is nice. The 200s come down, and we have our fibs set up on shorter and longer time frames, so we know our support and resistance on our fibs. We know that on the daily the stock RSI might turn up here, so that's bullish. We know that MACD's turned up, squeeze momentum's green. It's trending down a little bit, but it's green, so that's bullish. We know that there's going to be serious resistance at the 200, but there's lots of range in there. And so my Freedom Traders posts that I've been doing, I'm going to be working on these technicals next. And so if you take a trade before it gets through the 200 and up over the primary support that I've marked there around 505-ish, so if you're trading in here in the tight range, I'm gonna be doing some blog posts specifically on how to do that. But one of the tricks is to wait for the crossovers. So where the 20 crossed over the 50 and it's about to cross over the 100, and knowing where your fib support and resistance are, and things like your diagonal resistance, that one that's right there, and your 200 day, the pink line, that's going to act as resistance, and then also your natural resistance at I'm sorry, it's around 559. That's where your natural resistance is on it. So that was brought to us by Tracy in our room, and I've posted it to my Twitter if you want to get the actual support and resistance levels on it. JUNO, so I've traded JUNO for some time. It bottomed here in December when I was in Panama. We were setting up our trading business there, and traded it through and made some nice profits there. And now that same setup where the 200 is coming down and price is going to get hopefully up and over that 200. It's testing the 200 right now, and it's working its way through. So the setup is coming into play, and if you don't know exactly what to watch for, we've been publishing these midday reviews on Twitter, and it'll help you with exactly what to watch for and what to expect when it gets over the 200 and it plays out, because there's still a process there. There's the process before the 200, and then there's a process after the 200, and exactly what to watch for. So that's JUNO. I like that setup. Today it's off a little bit. Well, 7% is not a little bit, but relative to the chart it is. The chart is still in play. It's unfortunate it's lost its 200 and the 20. It's testing the 50 right now. The 50 on my charts is the purple line. So I'll thicken this up really quick so you can see it properly. So it's testing the 50, and then the 100's down here. The blue, the darker blue on my charts is always the 100, and then the powder blue is 20, and the pink is 200. So that's also published to TradingView, and I don't know if that one's locked or not, but that's a nice little setup. So actually, if you don't mind, I'm just going to, I think it is locked, so I'm just going to take a minute, and I'm just going to publish it really quick to make sure that folks that are in the room, if they want to get a hold of this, they can, and you can get a hold of the indicators that I use. just make them yours. JUNO chart setup. So we'll just publish this real quick, and then I'll continue with the midday reviews here. Publish. By the way, while I'm doing this, I'll just tell you I've had my toughest week of 2017, a lot of technical challenges and some silly trades, some trader bias against our algorithms, which is a mistake. But we made it through, and I appreciate the help and support and the grace that a lot of the members have given me. Whoops. Copy. Okay, so trading setup. JUNO. Okay, so that one's published. You can go to my Twitter feed and get a hold of that if you like. Okay, so I'm going to just set an alarm on this one here real quick. Or actually, I don't have to do that right now. Oh, there is one set. VDA is moving, hey? Okay, real quick, here's another one. AMBA, AMBA. Pardon me. Caution, of course, earnings coming. June 6th. 50-day is about to breach the 100-day. This is weekly chart, by the way, not the daily. MACD's up, stock RSI is at the top, so it's a little overbought, but earnings are coming up, so that's to be expected. Squeeze momentum's up. And something tells me that this is going to be a decent trade here. 200-day, right off the 200-day was beautiful. Beautiful trade. Like one of the better setups I've seen in the last number of weeks. But nevertheless, there's still, you know, you've got room to earnings. So that 50 gets through the 200 or through the 100, and I bet you see some fireworks there. But it's been really consistent. I mean, what's that? 6 weeks of consistency now. Nice candles. Just really like the setup. So that's AMBA. Here's another one I'm working on, FSLR. FSLR, this is that same setup where the 200 comes down, so I'll thicken that 200 up real quick. The 200 comes down and price tested it. Came off, got up through it, came back and tested it from the upside, and that's the way it should happen. So you're in leg one there, and leg one's just finishing. So the 20, so the setup is the 20 gets through the 200 with price above, and that's where you are right now. It's very likely going to come back and test this 200. Thicken that up for you, or 20, sorry, test the 20. It could test the 202 still again. If you watch the other midday reviews, you'll see where, you know, it's a little further along, and it'll test the bull and then come back up through the bull. And so anyway, this one is playing out ideal. Stock RSI was just at the bottom here recently. It's a daily chart, and it's turned up kinda. It's turned down a little bit again, but MACD is peaking at the top, so I'd be careful short term. I think it'll come back, retest the 20 or the 200 even. It has natural resistance, and it backed off where the natural resistance is. And on here you've got the important fib marks, support and resistance, and that's FSLR. And today it's off 1.2%. trading at 37.25. Love the setup. JKS. So another solar play. We've done some videos on it, so I'll just run it real quick here. So this is in some of our midday reviews. So again, same play, 200 days coming down. Price gets up through it, 20. What's the date there? So March 10th. So the 20 gets through the 200 with price above on March 10th, and it's done exactly what it should do. It came back, tested the 200. Tested 200, so you can see on the last chart why I said, you know, you're probably going to get a test at least at the 20, if not the 200. The 50 followed through, which is nice. So that's the purple one here, format. Yeah, thicken that up so you can see it. The 100 is just gotten through, and that's where the serious pop is here. Earnings are coming up, so caution, caution, caution. Very, very careful. Anyway, the 100 got through. And right when the 100 was breaching the 200, lots of action here. Like fantastic trade from 1648 to 1964. So we have earnings on the 5th of June. Careful, very careful. Can't express enough how important it is to not hold through earnings. But, you know, some people are good at it, so I got to be careful there. So that's JKS. Really like the setup. Love the setup. Cool. This is one of the coolest setups on the market right now. So this is the weekly. Pardon me. 200 day coming down. Price got lift here when the on the bottom play, so you can see how it got up over the 20, came up, tested the 100, came back down, tested the 50, came back down. So that's technically perfect. Worked its way back up, got on top of the 100. Then you got the crossover, the 20 and the 50. So all the way through here, you could have, you know, known what was going on if you were stocking it. Got up through the 200. Fantastic there. Earnings timing, right? Gets up through the 200, comes back, tests the 200, and kaboom. Now what's important is the stock RSI is just curled up. MACD's on its way up. Squeeze momentum, my favorite indicator of all, is green and starting to turn back up, and it didn't even get far down, and that's extremely bullish. 50 is about to work its way through the 100 on the weekly. And then the 20 is about to get, not about, but you know, it's on its way to the 200. And you got serious Momo. And what makes it really cool actually is you've got the setup that basically I was trained on, and that's where this is the top right horn, this is the left horn. So that's you know, extremely bullish. You get a set of horns like that, don't mess with the bull or you might get the horns. Very, 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 very serious setup. Now, whether or not it's going to play out, I can't tell you. You can also call that the bull. It's a really excessive bull. Normally they don't do that. They'll come up and, you know, and out the other side of the bull, boom. And if you watch the videos, you understand what I'm saying about the bull there. That bull will turn into a cup and handle in some instances. But before a cup and handle happens, there's the opportunity for the boom. And that's what's happened there. So that's super, super, super bullish. And your post earnings on that one. So that's nice. So that's cool. COOL. Thanks, Bernard. Let's take a quick look at oil. And by the way, I can't do a quick look because it takes a bit to load the algorithm charting, but we're going to look at it because it's important. So while it's loading, I'm going to look at other things. For those that know me, I didn't listen to the support and resistance on the algorithm for oil this week, which is really unusual for me, but man, I just had one of those weeks. I had to fight through all kinds of stuff, and I got a little distracted, and I thought, it's a small, for me, it's a small, for my portfolio, it's a small play. But, it really doesn't matter. I'll tell you, I seen somebody that I look up to on their feed the other day say the test of an expert trader is the percentage of times that they will follow the rules. So that really hit me hard, because I keep for fun, I keep myself a 5% gambling allowance. So that doesn't really play well to the percentage of times that you follow the rules, right? Because I'm basically saying 5% of the time I'm not going to play the rules. I'm going to play my way, and I just end up on the wrong side all the time. The algorithms beat me every time, because of course the support and resistance on the algorithms and the probabilities are spot on all the time. So yeah, I'm hanging my head a little bit on my way of playing oil. So while this loads, if you have any charts, let me know, or questions. So I do have one from Bernard. Kurt, do you think the machines will take price through the next fib resistance? Okay, well, this will take a minute. I apologize. I should have had this chart loaded. But with all our charting on all the different systems in here, internet throttles on me, so it takes a bit. Congrats to all in the room too this week, by the way. I've gotten a lot of messages about the wins. You guys are doing really well. So let's just back up really quick on what actually happened here. So when oil tanked, it got really close to a broad support, like a really important support. It didn't get very far from it. It looks like it's a long ways, but it was close. Anyway, so it got to the bottom of a algo quadrant right here, inverse of the apex, and it bounced. And when it bounced, this is interesting how these tails have come down, but that's what happens in the market, is that it over exaggerates moves. So I won't even look and see. But anyway, it bounced, which would be typical at the bottom inverse apex. We know that there's a possible channel, which is one of the benefits of trading with algorithm modeling. It's future forward charting. In other words, the channels, options for channels, there's two of them here, are already in this chart for our traders. So we don't wait for a trade to happen and then say, oh, there's a channel there. We tell our traders in advance where the channels are. And that's a cool part about it, amongst other things. So anyway, I'll stop selling it and tell you what's happened here. So at the bottom of that quadrant, it bounced. Then I got up to the wall of the quadrant, got through, tested important fib and natural resistance here, got through another quadrant wall, and those quadrant walls are massively important. But you see where it's trading near the apex, right? And when it gets near the apex, this is the kind of thing that happens. Fantastic place to take a trade. It's just I wasn't stalking it. But in the 24-hour oil room that's opening, when you see me stock these trades, this scenario here, I would be all over this move. I wouldn't miss that move. But anyway, you have to be stalking it to catch it, and those inflections, understanding where they are in the algorithm. It's not the algorithm, it's how the computers are trading this, and how they trade it determines your profit, right? So anyway, now it's up, and we know, our members know, that the second most important, well, third most important resistance in this charting, so it makes it very important, is that yellow line. So that yellow line's your test, anywhere near term, massive test. So remember that trade will always overextend itself at tests, or to the downside or upside, right? So once the machines shut off, at that yellow line, the humans will still take it a ways, but the machines won't continue with it until it's, you know, that move has proven itself out. So the machines will kick in up here if the humans are still trading it bullish. But that yellow line is your resistance. So it's hit it. It didn't test through. It came back. If it gets through and it gets up and over these fibs here, and it comes back and tests, it depends on the price action. So if it gets through and it really spikes, the machines are in. That's just how it works. It's velocity of trade. But you want to try and let it back test, retest these fibs and take off, and then take your trade. Now the quadrant that it'll be in isn't that serious, but it's going to be near quadrant walls here if it gets through. But man, wouldn't that be great if it got up and spiked through to this apex here, and then boom to the next one? That'd be ideal, because right above there is serious resistance here with these fibs. Not serious, they're fourth most considerable resistance in the charting. You're right into another apex, and then boom. And that's how oil trades. On our next review, I'm going to go through exactly, Epic's report this weekend. We'll have every detail of what just happened, and how it happened, etc., etc. This target would definitely be out of play. So yeah, and your important resistance is there. I've shared more than I'm supposed to, but hey, it's a late day, it's a Friday, and there's a decent trade setting up here in oil if it goes. If it gets through that yellow line, up through these fibs, tests, and goes, could be a really decent trade. Any other questions about the oil chart? Okay, it looks like we're good to go on the oil chart, so I'll just kill that because it uses up a lot of my bandwidth here, or RAM. PSTG still going. Wow. Well, you know what? Part of this is our trade setups. So why don't we just take a look at it, do a little review here. If anybody wants to look at any other charts, let me know. We're doing good for time today, 12:32. PSTG. Let's see what's going on here. Pure storage. Now, one other quick thing, there are some expert traders in this room. I mean, like world-class people. There's 6 or 7 in our room regularly, and each one's got their kind of specialties. And there's more than that in terms of good traders, but I'm talking like world-class competitors. There's 6 or 7 in this room, and anyway, so once you're in the room for a bit, you'll kind of get to know the personalities of them, and when they start talking about whatever, who to take most serious about what. Look at that, hey? So that even sets up on what we've been working on. So on the daily, it's up over its 200, so the 200 came swooping down, so that's our setup. Let me get rid of these EMAs really quick here. So the 200 came swooping down, and tested it, came off, tested it, came off. Now, earnings hit. The thing about when earnings hit and this whole test is happening, this bottom play, this, the earnings cause it to either fail the test or to continue up. The important part here is you can see in the bottom play, once it got up over the 20, it tested the 50 and came off. Rode the 20, tested the 50, it got pinched in between, and it got out to the upside. Then it hit the 100, test, it didn't come back off, it just kept going. Why? Because earnings were coming. So if you're playing, wow, talk about noise. Okay, I think I might have to close the patio doors, but a group of little bike gang went by and caused a little chaos out there. And I'm not in the hood. Okay, I'm gonna shut this real quick. Okay, everybody's enjoying the sunny day here. When you live basically in the Arctic, and the sun comes out, things get active. So anyway, you can see where all the tests were. Then it came off when it hit 200 there. It came off really hard, and you can see prior to earnings, you got to be really careful with volatility. I don't know if there was bad news in there. There was probably a downgrade. I don't know. I'd have to go through the news. But anyway, that's the setup. Now it's through the 200. It's post earnings. There was probably an upgrade here. NetApp gets upgrade quarterly earnings report, provides confidence. So it got Momo on the upgrade and the setup, and now it's over the 200. You could have one heck of a play here. Now be careful, it's come up over the 200 before and failed. Ugh. So the chart history isn't the best, but well, yeah, you got to look at it for what it is. So symmetry, you know, real basic symmetry is you got your trend line here, and then now this chart isn't very old, so it's going to be hard to get any meaningful symmetry out of it, but yeah, tough altogether. But the ones that tested through the 200 are kind of like this, right? Yeah, you're just not going to get symmetry out of this. Well, there's a little bit there. Anyway, so what could you look for? Not that this would be very reliable, but you could look for something like that. Or you could set up your fibs real quick. I'm not going to go through extensive fib work here. You could look through the midday reviews from recent. And, you know, so you probably have some resistance, 1285. This kind of coincides with your extension, your symmetry through 1374. Yeah, it's a nice setup. If that proves out, boy, you'll be on the right side of the right kind of move. So that's PSTG. So I'm going to, if you don't mind, Corey, just share this really quick. Publish. PSTG. PSTG chart setup. Hey Josh, yeah, I'll take a look at it. DRX, no problem. I'm just gonna put this one on Twitter here real quick. Copy. Let's get this one out to the world. PSTG. And if that one proves out and it actually gets past its history and continues, wow, that's where the money is. There's just no doubt about it. Chart setup. Thanks to @Quarry. Whoops. Quarry, you're okay with this, right? Thanks to Quarry Rock for bringing it home to the team. Better spell this right, hey? Bringing it. Bringing it. Okay, I think I did that right. Trading setups. PSTG. Did I do that right? Yeah. Okay, next one. Hey, I'm keeping pace here. DRRX. I'll load this one up. Okay, DRRX. Sorry, I'm just looking through a little bit of history here because I don't know this one. So I want to make sure I don't put my foot in my mouth with something. Wow, long weekend. I love trading, but I love long weekends when you're working hard. It is nice to get some time down. DRRX. So this is one of those that we've been working on where that 200 comes down. I just want to take a look at the weekly really quick. Oh, so this is a micro. Up 6% on the day. So the weekly, let's take a look at the weekly really quick. There's the 200 coming down. Last time I got through the 200 and that whole setup we've been working on our midday reviews the last 3 weeks. Once it got through the 200, kaboom. What do we got there? $1.30. Wow, triple. Just about a triple. Well, it's a triple from its bottom, but I mean from the when it breached the 200. Wow. Sweet. So that's the first thing that jumps out at me. The other one is that its extensions in terms of history are pretty predictable, boy. This is nice stuff too. So then, last time, almost a triple. So then it happened again. But see the difference? So the 200 was coming down. Here the 200 was going up. That might not seem like a big deal, but trust me. Now, was that tradable? 153 to 191, you bet your boots. 195. What is that in percentage? That's something like 30%, isn't it? 40%? Now it's working its way back up to the 200. MACD's trending up. Oh, so this is the sweetest part. So you see this squeeze momentum indicator, my favorite, short of the algorithms. It's trending up and about to turn green. It's post earnings, that's huge to get past the earnings. MACD, huge, turning up. Stochastic RSI on its way up. So this is all in the weekly, right? It's got one more AMA to pass before the 200, and that's the 100. So it's going to come down and there's going to be a test there. So you're probably going to, it'll probably come off at the 100 and then come back to your 50 or your 20, right? And then go again. So last time it was under. So always look at your history, right? So yeah, it used the 100 as resistance there. Used the 100 as support and the 20 through there. So yeah, be careful with that 100 when it comes down, because it's gonna, unless price can get through that 200, well, it can't. It won't happen. So yeah, be careful with that. It's up over its 50. That's the purple. And up over its 20. So your test is going to be the 200, the 100, but it's going to get tested by the 100 first. And so it'll have to work its way through. Once it gets through the 20, man, I would take that all day long. You know, that breaches that 200. I would take that trade all day. So format, no, I want to add an alert here. Thank you for bringing this one in. I love it. So crossing value. Did I do that right? Why am I confused? Let's just put a simple price. Let's just do this. Okay. There. Now I got my alarm set on it. I'll work on this one more on the weekend, but awesome. Let's look at the daily really quick. So if you're in the trade or you want to get out of the trade, let me know and I'll help you out there. On the daily, it's up over the 200. Awesome. 20's coming up. So it might get a good shark bump there. MACD. Stock RSI is coming down, but your MACD is trending. Squeeze momentum is trending in the right direction. 200 days come down. Price is above past earnings. Just simply bullish. Yeah, really bullish chart. And then, so what's going to happen next is the 20 is going to get through the 200 and probably pop it up. So your basic symmetry, trend line, this is what happened last time. So we just go back to Sesame Street and we do that. And then you can set up your fibs if you like. So, which you should. I don't have enough time to get into advanced fib work, but in the last, well, not even advanced, but more than basic. But we've been working on this over the last 3 weeks or so, and so there's some video on it that you can check out. So the first thing you want to know is whether or not it's respecting its fibs. And I gotta be honest, it's not so clear. Here, let me just go a little further here. So yeah, I would consider 137 resistance, 150, 152-ish resistance, and then so where did you enter, Josh? What was your buy on it? See, one of the bullish things that's happening on this daily is your stock RSI is coming off, but price is going up, and that's really bullish. Like, that's a super great sign. That means that there's accumulation happening. The bulls aren't leaving anytime soon. So the people that are selling, the you know the bulls are holding, so they're accumulating. So I don't know what the float is in this. I don't know the history and stuff, but there's accumulation in there, and that's really bullish. And the 20 crossed the 100 while the stock RSI was coming off. Super bullish. Stock RSI should have been going up, but it was coming off. It was being sold by weak hands, and at the same time being accumulated. So the bulls are accumulating the stock. I don't know, man. This is a good play. This looks really good. There's some really bullish stuff in here. Like, I can't. I'd like to do a proper review on this one, because when you see stuff like that, like, you have to stop, technically, and really go to work. Like when you see a stock RSI coming down and you see price going up, especially when the 20 breached the 100 and price is above and the stock RSI is coming off, bullish accumulation is what that's called. Really interesting. Super, super interesting. See, this is supposed to happen. Stock RSI is coming off, price is coming off. So yeah, man, I wouldn't let this one go. The only time I would cut on this one is if the 200 gets breached. If it loses its 200, I would hold this one. Like, this is a serious setup. So I'm going to do my research on this weekend. I'm going to do some fundamentals. I'm going to work through, oh, so it's got a gap fill coming too. So you got to be really careful. So yeah, your extension's going to be what's that say, 192, but what a great play if you get there. That's where your main resistance is going to be. So you got, natural resistance there, horizontal lines there. There's your natural resistance, right at that fib. Yeah, without going much deeper, that's about all I can tell you. If somebody wants to enter today, what you do is you go down to your 5 minute or so. If you want to enter or add to it, you take it on your 5 minute. Now we got VWAP in here. So on the intraday, really important. Time of day is really important. So you do your ad, just after lunch kind of thing, or at the end of the day, depending on how you're doing it. But on the 5 minute, your MACD just crossed down, and your stock RSI is coming to the bottom, and your squeeze momentum is trending down. So how I do it anyway, when I'm actually paying attention properly, I wait for my stock RSI to come to the bottom, make sure I got VWAP, make sure that I've got increasing volume on the 1, 3, or 5 minute, depending on your time frame, and then hit it. So that's how you do your ad or your initial entry. Now you can do that on the 15 or 5 or 3 or 1, depending on what your risk threshold is. But 5 is, intraday is kind of a decent. That'll be my weekend reading. Thanks for bringing that one in, Josh. I'm going to publish it if you don't mind, Josh. Put it out there for the world. Get some karma going on it. Maybe Josh is gone. Well, I think I can assume. Okay, there it is. Thanks, Josh. Do you have a Twitter handle I can refer to? Okay, let's get this one published. This is an awesome setup. So this is the weekly, and then the daily. You got so many lines. What do you need all those lines for? Well, it's the difference between 40% and a few 100% returns a year. So I'll keep my lines, thank you. DRRX, publish. DRRX chart setup. 200 MA. It does have its 200 MA, right? Yeah. Don't need the publicity. Okay. That's why I ask, right? Because people, you never know. Okay, publish. I won't mention your name, I promise. Next time you come into the room, you don't even have to put your name in there. You can like call yourself Batman or whatever. Okay, here we go. Copy. I have one member that doesn't want to tell his wife he trades, hey? I'm not saying that's what Josh is doing, I'm just saying there's all kinds of scenarios. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, playing hide and seek with his wife on his trading. Trades on his phone. DRRX chart setup. Thanks to a visitor in the room. There we go. You are not getting any publicity. The worst already happened. Okay, chart setup, stocks. Sure, let's do that. DRX. Thanks for bringing that in, Josh. Appreciate it very much. Anybody have anything else you want to look at? We have 10 minutes. Wow, high day on PSTG. NAC, okay, let's do it. We got the time. Why not? Next week we move into some really serious indicators. So I think we're up to 12 or 13 right now out of the 53. Move into some more serious stuff. $174 up 4.77% today. Just a great trend. Beautiful. July of 2016. Can't ask for much more than that. Now, the folks that got caught on that, but you know, you got to use your discipline. How to use it. MACD turned down right here on the daily. There's your sell signal. When was that? January 31st. By the time you got to February 14th, you were in trouble. On our swings, that's one of our main indicators, and man, it works. Brings returns. Nice chart. Love it. Thanks for the reminder, Nick. And it's so close to 200 right now. Fantastic. It's got to get through that 20. So it's, you know, it's in the spaghetti mess, but it's still up over the 200. It's trending. It's a great stock. It's trading awesome. So these lines are so thick, I gotta lighten them up a little bit before I publish this. People give me crap about my lines to begin with. Okay. Nick, you're good with a share on this one? Or are you hiding from somebody too, like your wife? Format. Actually, I can remember for some time I didn't want my employees to know I traded. Because of course they think you're rich if you're trading, right? You must be rich if you're a business owner and you trade. Okay. Now the MACD is trending down on it right now, but squeeze momentum is red, just red. But see the stock RSI, it's at the bottom. What comes after the bottom? Lift. So yeah, I like it. Yeah, well, it's kind of important to keep private. That's why we tell people to use screen names. You get to be a superhero too, right? Make up all kinds of fun names. Okay, I'm gonna publish this one quick. Actually, why don't we just do this? I'm gonna, because it's top of the hour, I'll just say that's it for today, and I'll publish this after. So I'm gonna get ready for the afternoon session. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for the shares. Lots of team shares there, and actually, you know what? I'm really pumped about those plays. Good charts. So thanks for doing that, guys. See you in a bit here. I'm gonna get ready for the afternoon.